Welcome to the Arweave India Bootcamp series. Thanks a lot for taking the time today and joining us. It's going to be a pretty fun session today. To get started, can I please just ask all of you to settle down near the sitting area and the sofas? So it's and not come towards the backstage. It's just to keep things more organized and everyone can just see the speakers and everyone. Awesome. Thank you guys. If I'm loud and clear and you are able to listen to me properly, just can we have a GM in the chat just to see everyone is able to listen properly and having no issues with audio and everything. Awesome. I see a lot of hey guys, good to see a lot of new faces and new GMs. Perfect. I think then it's a good time. We're already at like 55 people, which is pretty cool. That's an amazing number. So yeah, once again, welcome to the bootcamp series. What is the bootcamp? Very precisely, very shortly. It's basically a series of session from one of the top minds in the Arweave ecosystem who acts as mentors and who will just guide you through like 0 to 1 of what is Arweave, what is AO, how can you get started, and just going from intro to more advanced levels. So that's what boot camps are, and what essentially they do is that once you have more knowledge about building on Avi, building on AO, you will be able to get started in doing your own stuff and build on top of things. And we'll have a challenge that will eventually announce in the next couple of weeks once the bootcamp finishes. And based on those challenges, the best entry will get access to the hacker house, a ticket to the hacker house. It's an all expense paid experience, and it covers everything, and it's going to be quite fun. We have few scholars from last year's hacker house here. We can talk to later about. And yeah, and hacker house is in the month of July, so we're already there. It's not even a month, so it's going to be a pretty exciting journey. So make sure you attend not just this bootcamp, but the rest too as well. And hope to see you at the Hacker House. So I won't take much time, and we would let Tom take the stage. Tom is the CTO at Forward Research, where I work as well. Along with him, and yeah, he's one of the greatest minds in the RB ecosystem, and yeah, excited for all of you to hear what he has for us. So, Tom, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Ash. Hey, everyone. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to going through this boot camp with you guys. And today I get to talk about AOS and SQLite. And I think this is pretty cool that you can actually run databases in AO. And SQLite is a small, fast, self-contained database that's about the AOS module is about 3.5 megs, which is pretty cool. So you get AOS with Lua as a scripting language, and you get SQLite all in a 3.5 megabyte module, and it works great on AO, and hopefully you'll see that today. Also, what we're going to cover is building kind of the back end of a medium style blog. And this will be kind of a shortened version. There will be a lot of features we can obviously add to it, but hopefully you'll get kind of the basics. Number one, how to interact with AOS. Number two, how to use SQLite in AOS. And then finally, some ideas on how to kind of manage your data in a AO process. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, please go ahead and feel free to ask questions in the chat. And at the end, I'll cover those questions, so I can just get through this all in one go. And today I'm going to use the Better Idea IDE for AO and AOS. Hopefully, you guys got to see the demo day yesterday. I think it was yesterday. But this is a really cool product. It's got a lot of features, and we're gonna use it to build this back end AO process for a medium style blog. And then Rohit is going to show you how to build a web application on top using this. And then finally, Jaja is going to show you how to make it look great, which is the most important thing, right? Is good UX. So with that said, the first thing that we'll do, and I've already got a new project, but you would just go to new project to create the new project. And when you do that, um, you want to select create new process. And then in the advanced settings, you would select the SQLite module. So when you go to create a new project on the Better uh, Idea, IDE, um, you create a new process and you can select SQLite. If you wanted to do it through the command line, you would use dash dash module. Um, so you would call AOS and then say dash dash module equals, and then the SQLite ID, and then the name of your process. And I will put a link in the chat of my speaker notes, which has links to resources and everything like that. So you can follow along, or you can check it out later. So okay, so we've got a new AOS process, and now there's one thing that I want to also do, and that's load a module. This DB admin module is just a helper module that allows me to execute queries and get a list or a table back very quickly. I can also see what tables I have. So for example, I can say DB admin tables, and it'll give me a list of tables. There's no tables in here yet. And then I can say, DB admin count and say authors, and it would give me a count of authors, but there's no table of authors yet. And then I can also do DB admin exec, and I can say, select all from post, and there's no post yet, and it'll return no post. So it gives me these commands that makes it easier to work with a SQL database on Lua. So we'll go to modules, and I've already loaded this, but we would just select DB admin Lua and click load, and then that would load into our process. So now that we've got our module DB admin, we're going to require SQLite 3, which is the Lua driver for SQLite. And then we're going to use the open memory command. So since AO, everything is running in memory. So we're going to open our database and use it in memory and set it as a global property called DB. This will give us access to the database for the lifetime of our AO process. And then we're going to require DB admin and say new. So we're going to create a new instance of DB admin and pass in the DB as the parameter, and set a global DB admin for our module. So we'll run that and we should get okay, which we do, which, which should give us everything we need to set up our process. So the first thing we're going to do is create a couple of tables. And we do that using SQLite syntax, just standard SQL. And what I'm going to do is create a couple of constants. One is authors, and then it's just standard SQL. So it's create table if not exists, authors, and then we're going to specify our columns PID, which will be the process ID that is an author, and we're going to make it the primary key. And then the name of the author, we're going to set that to text. And with SQL, you really have integer and text, and I think I can't remember the float thing, but you have very few kind of types in SQLite. Primarily, you'll just use text most of the time. So that's our authors, and we'll add a semicolon at the end. SQLite semicolons. We'll do post. And I'm going to just kind of copy this so that I don't make too many typos. But basically, it's a create table. And we're going to take the table and name it post. And then we're going to have an ID, which will be the ID of our post. And the PID, which will be a foreign key reference to our authors table. And then we'll have a title and a body. Now, this is, like I said, this is kind of a simplified version for the demo. If you're building a real blog, you may have more information, but this is really just to show you kind of the basics with AOS and SQLite. So now that we have those constants defined, we want to add a function to initialize our database. So we'll do function initDB, and happen. Okay. So function initDB, and then we're going to do db execute authors and db execute posts. And then we're just going to return db admin colon tables to just verify. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. So we're going to call dbadmin tables to verify that this worked correctly. And then the last thing we're going to do in this code block is actually call initDB. So let's run that. Okay. Let's hope that this works. So let's check it out here. Let's just do db admin tables. And yeah, here at the bottom, we've got our authors and posts set up. Pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe I needed to put a return here. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. Yeah, so we've created two tables, and we've added a foreign key link from our post table to our authors table. Pretty cool. So now that we've got our tables set up, we need to add some handlers. So basically, we're going to add 3 handlers. Well, maybe 4 handlers. Yeah. So what we're going to do, and I'll just go ahead and stub them out. handlers.add. And a handler is a way to handle a message coming into AOS. So the application front end is going to use a um, a npm package called AO Connect, and it's going to send a message to AO and say, you know what, I want to register a user. So the first handler we'll create is register an author. So we'll call it, and I kind of name this system just to give it a name, Blink Blog, whatever. So we'll do Blink Blog register, and we'll need to create a pattern function and a handle function. Function um, tells the message process whether to call the handle function or not. So if we do function message and then return, and we're going to look for message.action equals register, like that. And then it's going to return a true if this message is a register message. And then that will call the handle function, and then it will exit out of the handler. So let's see if I can't get more space here. Okay. So now we're going to do function message, and we want to do a couple of things. First, we only want to register um, the user one time. So you could check for it, but since it's the primary key, it's actually going to error if you try to add a duplicate primary key, since the PID is the primary key. So actually, we can really just add it. So we can do db admin exact string dot format and enter our SQL insert into authors, PID, and name, and values. So I use string.format, but you can also use a statement and prepare the statement and add the question marks. But I'm using string.format just because I'm more familiar with it and it just seems simpler to do. So with string.format, you give it your string and you add %s and %s for the places you want to replace with strings, %d if you want to replace with a number. And then at the end of after the string argument, you provide your placeholder arguments from left to right. So with this, we want the PID, which will be message.from, and we want the name, which will be message.name. Or if they don't send us a name, we'll make the author anonymous. Cool. So that should insert the author in our database. And again, if it already exists, it'll come back with an error. And we just want to send a message back to the caller that their author was added. So we're going to say target equals message.from and action equals registered, and then data equals successfully registered, something like that. And then we'll also print to the console, um, let's say successfully registered, and then message.from and message.name. Let's do I think what we'll do is just do or anon like that. and we'll end our function. And then our handler add call. So when we run this, it's going to add the handler. So let's run it, and hopefully we had an extra one. I thought there was one already there. Okay, so we get undefined, which means that it's successfully loaded. If we get an error, then that means that it didn't load. So now we can test that. So let's see if we can't register ourselves as a user, because that would be great. Let's go target equals AOID, which is ourself, and action equals register, and then name equals blog admin. Very creative name right there. So let's do a send, and we'll have to scroll down here. We got a message that we registered, so that was good. This console is tough to tell. Okay, so we got a new message that we've registered, and just to double check, let's use DB admin, and let's do count authors, and we got one. Let's just look at that data. So execute, select all from authors. Cool. So we got our block admin, and the PID um, is correct. So AO.ID. Yeah, sorry if I'm going too fast. Again, I'm going through this, and hopefully it's being recorded, and then you can kind of come back afterwards and go through your own pace. I just want to be respectful of time. And if you can keep up, that's great. But I would recommend just to watch, and because I'll probably make some mistakes and have some errors, and then you can kind of come back to it at your own pace. Cool. So yeah, we just registered a user, which is pretty cool, and we can query it using SQL, which is cool. And now we want to create a post. So authors / users can create posts. So let's go ahead and create that action. I'm going to try to figure out how to scroll this up a little bit, maybe to give us some more real estate. No, maybe that's good. Maybe that'll work. Okay. Okay, so let's create a post handler. So we'll go handlers.add, and and one of the things that I've found to be helpful is really adding a namespace to your handlers. So let's say you want to add token gating to this process. Well, you would load the token blueprint, and what you don't want is any of these handlers to conflict. So maybe the token blueprint has a register handler, or someone else has a create post handler. You just don't want conflicts. So I tend to namespace them. And here I'm namespacing it with kind of the name of my process, Blink blog here. And we'll do function message. And this is our pattern message, right? So we're going to return message.action equals and create post. And then we're going to do a function with a message. And what we need to do in our handle message is insert a post in our post table. So we're going to first get our author. So we want to make sure that we have an author. So we're going to do local author equals db admin execute string format. And we're going to say select PID from authors where PID equals S. And that'll be message.from. And then we're going to grab the first one, right? So that's going to either be an author or nil. So if author, then we want to insert a post. So we're going to do db admin execute string.format. And we're going to do an insert into post. And we're going to need an ID for the post, a PID, a title, and a body. And we'll add some formatters. And then we're going to add the message ID. And one of the reasons that we do that is the message ID is an Arweave TX. So if you inserted, for example, Markdown, you may want to add a content type to Markdown. Then the front end application can parse that into HTML. Or maybe you want to add it as HTML. Then you add a content type as HTML, and the front end application will know it's HTML and can show it as HTML. So that's kind of pretty cool. We'll have the PID. So that is the author.pid, and then a title. And the data is our body. So we'll insert the data like that. Okay, that looks good. And then we're going to send a message letting the user know that the article was posted. From data equals article posted. And we'll just print out new article posted. Okay, so that's our if the author exists. Otherwise, we just want to let the user know that they're not registered, so they can't submit a post. Oops, what happened? Okay. Okay. Cool. And we'll run that. Awesome. So now let's test that out. And I'm gonna use a code block this time to test. Let's see. Let's send target equals AO.ID, action equals create post, title equals hello Arweave India, and data equals first blog post. All right, so we'll send, and we got a message, article posted. Cool. New article posted. Excellent. So now let's look at our account for post. We got one. And then let's just look at the table. Cool. So we got a title, Hello Arweave India. We've got our body, first blog post, and we've got an ID. And like I said, the cool thing and is that this ID is a message ID, which is also an Arweave transaction. So I should be able to go to Gateway IO and paste the transaction, and it downloaded. So if I set the content type, it would have shown. So let's do that real quick. It's not too hard. I'll send another post. Equals create post, and then title equals hello world, body or data equals hello world. And then we're going to add a content type. So we'll go say content type equals text HTML, and we'll run that. We get our message added, and then let's check out our table. Okay. So now we've got two, and let's pull up this ID here on gateway.io. Oh, got hello world. Pretty neat. Um, all right. So that is our create post. And let me clear this out. And now we need to add a way to list our post, right? So when you go to a blog, you want to see a list of all the posts. So we need to add a handler to list our post, and we'll call that post. We'll do our pattern matching function. Message.action equals list. And then we'll do our handle function. And with the handle function, I'm just going to copy it for time because, but it is, okay, I'll leave it alone. Okay, so what's cool with SQL is you can do joins, obviously. So what we're going to do is when we list our post, we're going to not only list the title, we're going to also list the author. So we'll basically create a left outer join and execute it. So here, select post ID, title, name as author, and from post, and we're going to do a left outer join on the process ID of the author, which I think is pretty cool. And then we'll print a message saying that we're listing the number of posts, and then we'll send the post as JSON encoded data to the caller. So that's our list handler. Let's do that. And then let's run a request, send ao.id, action equals list. And I think that's all we need to do. Cool. We're listing 2 posts. Got a new message. You can check our inbox and you can see that it's the JSON of each post. So we can easily list and again, probably would add, the posted or published date, right? And um, we may want to add a status for people to create drafts and then publish the drafts, etc. But here, really just trying to showcase SQLite with a very basic minimum blog posting app. So that's list. And then finally, our app needs to be able to get a post by providing an ID. So you have this list and it's got an ID, message ID, and you want to do a get with that ID. So we're going to add a get handler. And again, our pattern matching function, we're going to say message dot action equals get. And our handle function. So for our get, we just need to query for a specific post, but we also want to do a join. So we're going to do local post equals db admin execute string dot format. And we're going to say select p.id, p.title, a.name as author, and p.body from post p left outer join authors a on p.id, or I'm sorry, PID equals a.pid. And then finally, we want to do a where p.id equals %s. And then we will add our value for the format. And this is going to be message post ID, which will be coming in from the message. And we'll do a send target equals message dot from action equals get response and data equals require JSON encode post. We'll print the post out as well. Post. Okay, so I think that's our get handler. We'll run that and we get undefined, which is good. And let's go to our terminal and let's send a get. So let me do db admin exec select ID from post And let's just get the top one. I did not like about that. DB admin exec. You didn't like top. Okay. Okay. So let's get this GD one. So we'll say send target equals AO.ID, action equals get, and then post ID equals that ID. And let's see what we get. Cool, we got a new message and there's our ID. So if we look in our inbox, we can see that it's returned our post for the title, Hello Arweave India, and the author and the body. Very cool. So now we've got a blog process that allows us to register authors and the authors to create posts, to list posts, and to get a single post. So we've got really kind of the bare bones of building the back end to a blog application. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, let me start through the chat. Okay. Yeah. So, and while we wait for someone to send questions, I'm happy to continue to talk. But one of the things I think some questions that came up before was when should I use SQLite versus like Lua tables in AOS processes? And I think there's at least for me two kind of questions to ask when you're building a process. And one is, do you expect to have a lot of data and you want to find single data elements using an index? Where Lua tables are great at adding data, and if you can index by ID, kind of create a key value store in the table, it works great. But if you want to filter on, let's say, an author field in a Lua table, then you have to do essentially a table scan or a row lookup. So if you say, well, I want to get all the posts by Tom, then using a Lua table, if there's 20,000 posts, I'll have to loop through each one with a filter command to see or get that subset. Whereas SQL builds those indexes by default, so it's much faster, and you can create indexes in SQLite. So I could index by that, and by using a foreign key, for example, I get the indexing for free. So I can easily pull up all the posts that blog admin created and get the indexing for free and get a little bit more performance. Um, the second reason I would use SQLite is if I have um, some relationships, right? So if I have some entities that relate to one another, um, then I want to use something like SQLite so I can do joins and combine that data together in one result set to send to users. Yeah. So I will the the question is the queries written for CRUD, can we access that online? Um, that's one question, and I'll get to the other question. So, um, if I'm understanding your question, I'll go ahead and share kind of the workshop notes here. Um, and hopefully you can access those. And it's very easy. SQLite is very easy to get documentation on the syntax. It's easy to learn. Um, and then Ankush was wondering about SQL injection attacks. Yeah, so SQL injection attacks are very important. Very um, you need to be concerned about them. And again, any data coming in for this demo, I did not really go through a lot of data verification, but if I was building this for a more production quality app, I would verify all my data in. The nice thing with AO and AO messages is all the tags have to be strings, and then you have the data. So that's really nice, and that helps preventing SQL injection attacks. Obviously, the other thing that you have to do is when you're asking for data, especially on an insert, the one thing is these quotes around the strings help a little bit, but you still want to validate your data coming in. So here, message from, I know that's going to be 43 characters, but I could do a check. The message ID, I know that's okay. Message title could be a string, and message data. So here are your kind of SQL inject kind of areas, and what you would want to do is on a uh, obviously you're trusting an author, so the author has to be in the database, but then your title, you may want to just make sure the strings can only be X amount of characters, and you may want to run it through, kind of a SQL injection kind of um, scanner, if you will, that looks for, words like delete or drop, etc. The interesting thing is because of the way AO works and the tables are running in memory, it's very hard to drop a table. So it would be very hard for someone to inject that um, in there. And also in the DB admin, you can also wrap around transactions and things like that. But yeah, with SQL, there comes SQL injection, and you definitely need to be aware of that and be careful and know who is sending you data and make sure that it is of the appropriate format that you want it to be in. So one more question is to access this from an API point of view. Yeah, to access anything in AOS, um, you use you can use REST if you want, but we also have a package on the permaweb called AO Connect, and it's in the AO repo, and it's called Connect. And this package will give you the ability to send a message. So when I type send, I'm basically calling this message command. You can call this from the front end. And then when the message is received, you can call the result command to get the results back. So if I call the result command passing the message ID that I sent in the process, it's going to return me messages and output, and the messages will have an outbox which you can get the result from. So yeah, it's really easy to connect with AO with AO Connect. It's very easy to connect with your process. Okay, so when you send data, you can choose to answer the question. No, I was asking in this blog context, like text HTML for Markdown. So if you're sending Markdown, you would send a content type of text slash Markdown. If you're sending HTML, you would send a content type of text HTML. If you're sending plain text, you would send a content type of text slash plain. So you as the author can send that data. And if a front end builds like a blog editor, they can uh, create that user experience. Like maybe they just want to support Markdown, and then when they send um, the the message to create a blog post, they'll set the content type to Markdown. How can we fetch the data into our front end? Yeah. So to fetch the data into your front end, you basically use AO Connect and you send a message. So you install AO Connect and you create a message, and that message would have an action for get and a um, post ID, and you would set the post ID. Then you would call result, and it will return the message in your app so you can display it. Yes, you can do the same for latex, right? So the biggest thing is to set a content type so the user knows, and probably want to extend this blog interface to add a type to your post. So then whatever app is consuming it can display it appropriately with the right parser. And I'm not going to talk too much with AO Connect because I think in the next bootcamp workshop, Rohit is going to kind of go through that and show how to, create a React app or a web app and connect to this backend and display um, these these features. And then, like I said, the following bootcamp will be from Jaja, who will show you how to add styles to make it look cool. So my focus was on the back end, but yeah, it's super easy to connect to this from any front end application. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Happy to stick around and answer questions. But really enjoyed giving this presentation. And yeah, I'm super excited about SQLite on AO. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tom. Tom, really appreciate your time. Guys, can we just give a shout out to Tom on the chat just to show that you guys were. I think you guys had a good time and learned a lot of new food. But again, yeah, thanks, Tom. Just yes, Tom OP. But yes, I'll let you. I think there's a lot of things going on with the announcements today, so I'll just let you, take your time on that. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining. So just a quick note, guys. The recordings will be available on the Discord, uh, on the Arweave in their Discord. So yeah, make sure if you want to revisit, just go there and check out the link. Can Rohit or Ankush, can you please like share the Discord link so like whoever is not there can join. Uh, so if you have your questions, if you want to know more about the backend channel using Better Idea, you can do that, and just we'll be happy to answer it there. So from now, we'll be heading to the co-work area, which is like right to the next. For any questions that you want to have around the boot camps, the hacker house, the launchpad, and the Aviv India crew will be more than happy to uh, just answer that for you, or just have a chat, like just have a mingle chat and talk about stuff. And just so you guys know, Bootcamp 2 will be live on June 5th. So that's next week. So if you just do make sure you put a reminder. We'll be sending out reminders on Luma. So make sure you're just check it's not going in your spam and you're checking out, and just we'll be putting out stuff on our Discord as well. So keep an eye uh, out there till that time, till 5th of June. If you're new to RV, if you're new to AO, explore, go down the rabbit hole. There's a lot of cool things going on in the ecosystem. There was a pretty big announcement just made like before the boot camp about AO tokenomics, which is pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of cool things going on, and yeah, I think we are at the very right time and right place to start building and start doing cool stuff. So yeah, a lot of cool things coming, and we're excited to do this with you, all of you. So don't forget, before we head off to the co-work area, don't forget to follow us and follow Tom. I think he's a very important builder in the RV ecosystem. So do follow Tom. You can find his Twitter on like the RV India Twitter post. And yeah, see you guys in the co-work area. Thanks for coming.